If I can get 0.5% of my account a day, that's a really good day for me. That's the day that I will stop trading. But it's getting harder. When the account gets bigger, like my account is at 7 million. So 1% is $70,000. 0.5% is $35,000. So it's getting really difficult to catch to that. It's just the liquidity of the market. That's why it's, for me, I have a big position and then I'm using that extra leverage of extra buying portfolio margin that I have for day trading. So.
Andrew, Aziz, welcome back on the podcast. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
In the office. Pleasure to be here. We spoke a few years back. We have many interviews together on the channel. So good to have you here in person, of course. Tell me about kind of who you are and what you do these days.
First of all, welcome to Vancouver. I know it was the first time. I hope that you had a good time. Who I am? I'm still a day trader. So I still day trade. Trading has allowed me to travel the world the way that I want. Since the last time that we spoke, I climbed Everest. I went to Antarctica. I climbed in Alaska. So all the things that I love in life, trading has allowed me. So right now I see myself more like an adventurer, trading on the side for 2 hours a day. That's who I am these days.
You gotta tell me how you started trading. Like, what was the deciding factor for you to begin trading, and what made you kind of keep at it?
So I got laid off from job. I have a PhD in engineering, and I was working as an engineer, like PhD, really good company, and I was so proud, papers, patents, and everything. I have the patents here in the office. I'll show it to you. But I got laid off from my job, and they gave me a good package, but I was unemployed for 5 months, and I said, okay, what should I do? What's the best way of thing to do it? I said, okay, I'll start learning trading. And that was, 2013, 14, that was like a start of the retail trading boom. Like people started getting to them now because the commissions came down, technology was available now for people. That was a boom. So I got lucky in that boom and started watching YouTube videos and stuff and slowly got into trading. But I did have to get another job because trading at the beginning is hard. So I did change my job and I had another job but at the same I was hooked up in trading. Since you're hooked up, if you really like the lifestyle, you are hooked up.
How did the learning curve was it? Was it easy to learn trading? Was it difficult to learn?
No, it's not easy. Obviously, everybody heard that. Your channel many times. It's not easy and never gets easy. That's the thing. Like at the beginning, you go through this hockey curve, always the early losses, and then you slowly go back. And you're one trade away from blowing up your account. In 2022, people who would see my channel, $2 million loss, which was a big portion of my life, one trade. So it takes one trade to blow up your career in trading. So a lot of people are asking me that, how long does it take to become a consistent trader? And I said, well, maybe 6 months. But it never ends there. Like, when can you say I'm fit? Never. You have to always keep watching diet, exercise and everything. So it's just a learning progress.
What was that trade about? Was it like a mistake or?
So it started as a day trade. It was a leverage ETF called TNA, which is 3 times of IWM is the index. So it started as a day trade. It went down and I said, you know what, I hold it. It's the index is going to go back up. I added more. And it came right into the 2022 bear market, which was like, 200 days of bear market just going down. And then I wasn't leveraged. So TNA is a leverage product, so 3 times. So IWM dropped like 30%, this one dropped 90%. Eventually I accepted loss, like I bought at 82 and eventually accepted this at 47, I think. So it was 50% drop, but yeah, it was a big part of my life. But it started as a day trade and I added more.
How do you feel after?
I cried that day. I mentioned that many times that I cried that day, but I had a really good life support around me. My brother was there and all the people helped me to recover it, and I made that money back it was so easy, like in 2 years. But in that time, I was very close to stop trading. Like I lost my confidence in myself. I didn't really become suicidal or something, but I can see how people can kill themselves and stuff. I wasn't really in that area, but I would think maybe I should stop trading.
Is there something that kind of make you keep at trading or like made you stay in the game, or was it something like, because a lot of people would have that loss, they would just quit and like be done with it?
I think the one thing that kept me going was the community that, we are running. So Bearable Traders is a big community. Like every day people are coming. I have, a lot of traders that are helping me in the leadership team. So the thing that the community helped me keep going. But it's funny that a lot of them later told me that they could see you for 6 months. This position was, I started in November 2021, all the way up to May that I closed it. For 6 months, they could see me every day, just slowly getting down, that impacts me. But the community was very helpful and supportive, and I think that was the reason that I kept going.
Was there anyone who introduced you to trading, or anyone who kind of mentored you through trading, or did you learn all by yourself through
I
YouTube?
know by myself through the YouTube videos. Ross Cameron on Warrior Trading has a lot of really good educational videos. I followed him, although he's a penny stock trader. There's other YouTube channels that I learned, but eventually became the trader that I am from learning from everything. So I give credit for example, Ross at Warrior Trading is really good educational content in his channel. And I never paid for a mentorship. Actually, we had this discussion this morning in the chat room too. I never paid anything for mentorship. I was just too stingy. I was really too broke and too stingy to pay anything, too cheap. But I think it's worth to have a mentor at least for a few sessions, because a lot of time the mentors gives you some tips that helps you. Like for a couple of $100 an hour, maybe you can save thousands of dollars down the way. I think mentorship is valuable.
I'm curious if you started this with the same style of trading you have today. Was it still like day trading the same thing, or did you change over time and adapt over time?
I think it's unbelievable that I still trade the same thing. I still trade opening range breakouts, ABCD patterns, and I added a little bit of things in there. Like for example, I wasn't using pivot points in that time, but now I added a pivot point at an indicator. But that's the only thing. If something works for you, just keep doing it. You don't have to change it. And this is amazing that I stick to these couple of strategies that I've mentioned in the book. I update the book every year, but the basics are the same.
And that's pretty good. So you trade only 2 hours a day, you mentioned. What do you do during those 2 hours? What does that look like?
So most important time of the trading for my strategy is the momentum, and to try to scalp. And the momentum is the first half an hour and first 15 minutes in that. So when the market opens at 6:30 our time, Pacific, which is 9:30 in the New York time. So wait for a couple of minutes to find this range. Opening range, I'm an opening range breakout. So find the range, and then if it meets the other criteria, if it's, the volume and gap and volatility, then we go along. If it breaks out, 5-minute opening range breakout or 5-minute short, or 1 minute or 2-minute opening range breakout. We do have actually a research paper on 5-minute opening range breakout, which we did it on the indexes and TQQ and QQQ, and see the results have been amazing. So this strategy has been known for 40 years now, and it works. Not on every condition, so recognition of the pattern is very important. But the research that we did is if you do the QQQ every single day, doesn't matter the gap or volume or anything, you're still profitable on day trading, even if you do it every single day.
So you stick to only one instrument, or do you have other things in your portfolio?
So we look for the stocks in play, the things that gapped up or gapped down or have heavy volume of volatility. Usually it comes with fundamental news. We call them stocks in play. So every day, like for example, today, the recording in July 23rd, Disney was gapping down for some reason. CrowdStrike, because of this updates of the Microsoft and stuff, is pretty active. So we were trading these. But there are some usual suspects that we trade them. Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD. These are, in the last 2 years or a year and a half, this AI wave that has come. So these are the sectors that are in play. And the sectors in play can stay in play for some time. Like for example, during the pandemic, airlines, cruise lines, vaccine companies, they were active for a couple of months, really good. So I do trade in sectors in play too.
You mentioned you had trades that turned before into swing trades. Do you still play swing trades, or do you only do day trading?
Not a lot. I do have a big position of the VOO, which is about $4 or $5 million position that I'm holding, and I'm with extra buying power. I'm trading as day trade on that. Sometimes when I see really good high probability trades on swing, I do that. But I don't tend to do that. Like for example, CrowdStrike, when it gapped down, if it's on my YouTube channel, you can see that we started selling puts because we think it was extremely oversold. We started selling puts, and it was really good profitable thing. And I'll hold it for 1 week if it's an option trade.
Do you go all in into one small trade, then you kind of keep it, or do you add over time to it?
For day trade, I go sometimes 100% of my buying power in one single trade. But those trades are not penny stocks. They're like Tesla, NVIDIA, AMD. They're liquidity, so you can get out of it. And a lot of people say, well, does it make sense you risk everything for $1,000? No, I'm not risking everything. My position is everything, but my risk is the amount of loss that I have from the stop loss. So that's very important. Like if my position is $1 million to make $1,000 or $2,000, that doesn't mean that I'm risking $1 million to make $1,000. I'm risking only a percentage of the stop loss.
And for swing trades, do you tend to add more over time, or do you?
No, that's usually not a good recipe to add into a position, especially if it's a losing position. A few days ago, last week again, it's on my YouTube channel, the IWM started running up because of the interest rates going down, inflation came negative. So I went long TNA again, And then I added more because I saw that this is a really strong bull market, very bullish move. I added more. But it's a very good idea to add to your winner and don't add to your loser. The moment that it goes down and you buy more, that's usually a recipe for disaster. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it depending on the situation, but that's usually a recipe to disaster. When it goes down, you buy. But when it goes up or in your direction, you add more, that's usually a very good...
Curious to hear what your criteria are for adding to a winner, especially. Do you have any kind of moving average you look at when it pulls back to that level? Or how do you...
For day trading, I look at the 1 minute and 2 minute chart. 1 minute chart, especially pullbacks. When you see a really big good breakout of momentum, usually you want to add on the pullbacks. And, sometimes you see this ABCD pattern or, like a flag, and then that, on pullbacks you can buy because usually they continue for another 1 or 2 moves. Sometimes you can add right at the breakouts. Sometimes I do add into that. But based on experience, you kind of get a good feeling that when the moves starts, when the shortest squeeze happens and the bulls are coming, it's a bullish move, you get a good feeling. I'm not really good at adding and things. We have some traders in our community that do way better job than me. I suck at it and I always joke about it. But it's a good habit to add to your winners.
How do you manage your open trades? Do you tend to have any kind of like trailing stuff, or do you tend to kind of get out, like scale out of it, or how do you?
No, I don't. I always my hands are always on my hotkeys. So, and the type of trade that I do is seconds to minutes. I don't tend to put stop loss. Sometimes if I would really want to go out for half an hour or something, I put that. But I personally just hands on the key. And it never happened in the 7-8 years that I'm been trading that in a big position, something happens that I don't have access to my computer. Always, my phone is the last thing that I can do that, but my platform, my internet never down and things. But it's good to have redundancy. But never happened to me. So I'm pretty good at that.
So you wouldn't even put a stop loss like protective, like really far from the price, would just go without stop loss?
No, but again, it's the style of my trading is that it's a seconds. You don't have time even to put the stop loss order. You don't have to go type it in and stuff, it's because I'm a scalper. But obviously, I know your channel is more toward the, Forex. So Forex, definitely you need that because it's a longer time frame and everything. So it really depends on the style of trading for me as a scalper, and I love it. I love scalping. I think it's quick. Like that's what I love. I'm an impatient person. I want to get things done. I don't want to hold on a position.
What's your average target? Do you have a certain like level of like of points to target on a trade?
So on a trade, depending on your stop loss, so again, you talk about the R, risk to reward and stuff. So if I risk, for example, 50 cents, I'm expecting at least $1 move. Like on NVIDIA, if you give 50 cents, I at least expect one for the first target, so for first partial. For trading, if I can get 0.5% of my account a day, that's a really good day for me. That's the day that I will stop trading. But it's getting harder. When the account gets bigger, like my account is a 7 million, so 1% is $70,000. 0.5% is $35,000. So it's getting really difficult to catch to that. It's just the liquidity of the market. That's why it's, for me, I have a big position, and then I'm using that extra leverage of extra buying, portfolio margin that I have for day trading. So, but it's getting, when the accounts get bigger, that 0.5% becomes less and less possible.
I think it's, people set these expectations just now, like, oh, I'm going to get like 1% a day or 1.5% per day. How many of those days do you actually reach that target? Is it like every day or some like?
No, it's an average. Days? Like there has been days that I make like 7% a day. Like especially when my account was a couple of $100, but there are some days that you lose, 0.5% or something like that. So in average, they say the good traders, good day traders, again, day traders, 0.5% a day is a really good return, which is like 100% a year.
Yeah.
So that's a really good, but it's an average. Obviously, you have really good days, you have really bad days. And again, the one question that people say, 100% return, like, Wall Street, why not Wall Street? This day trading for it's a niche. Like, if Warren Buffett wants to come to day trade like we do, he has to buy everything because that's still so much money. Like this day trading, and they do, the algos, and, there are some firms that they do get this 100%, but it's not really scalable in a Wall Street level. Like they have billions of dollars in their accounts.
Talk me through the mindset that you need to succeed at day trading like you do, or actually scalping like you do, compared to like someone who could do it the same way, same methodology, same principles, but fails because of their mindset.
So the number one thing is, guys, that you have to love trading. Like I was playing video games when I was a kid. Like I love these movements, and you have to press right at the same time. You have to love it. I had a lot of people read my book and community, and they say, it's too much work for a couple of $100. And they were doctors, lawyers and stuff. That makes sense. They just don't enjoy doing that. It's not for everybody. You have to love this concept of video game, which is essentially a video game. So you have to love the nature of this pattern recognition because, it's like a quiz every single day. So that's the number one. And the second is you have to have a really desire to go through this learning curve because you're putting yourself through a very difficult thing. I really love the lifestyle, climbing every day and traveling the world the way that I want. People travel the world when they are retired and cruise and stuff. But I want to travel the world when I'm young and the way that I want, like climbing and stuff. So I really love the lifestyle, and that's kept me going on. And people can have different reasons, like for family or for retirement or whatever reason it is. You just have to find your things that drives you, and then just always put that as the head, as your, the reference to try to push toward that.
Do you think desire is enough to succeed in trading, or do you need like any other sort of traits or mindset?
No, I don't think it's, it's definitely a necessity, but it's not enough. If you really want it and you cannot do it, then maybe you should stop because that's the definition of insanity. You just keep doing something that doesn't work and repeating it. So desire is very important, but you have to see out all other elements. Do you have time for it? Do you have the time zone for it? Do you have the patience for it? Do you have, a lot of people, like their family situation may not allow them to trade. Like I was young, blew up $2 million and, I could survive, but a lot of people can't recover from that kind of losses. So that's one element. Luck is also, I think, is a very important element, especially at the beginning when you get some early beginner's luck and make good money. So it sort of gives you a cushion. But in the long term, the consistency doesn't come with luck. So there are so many elements in that. And it's okay if you try trading for some time and, you move on. There's nothing wrong with this because it's business, entrepreneurship. You start a business, doesn't work, and then you move on to another one. The things that you learn during the process about yourself, I think it is valuable in the next challenge of life.
That's a good point. I guess the tough part for some guys who have full-time jobs is it's hard for them to be able to trade 2 hours a day when they have a full-time job. Like maybe you have a good time zone, maybe that helps. What would you advise to these guys who want to do trade, but maybe the work is kind of hard?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. Like I was lucky that I'm in the Pacific time zone in Vancouver. The market opens at 6:30. I told you that I was unemployed and then I had to get a job because I was losing all the money. And I could trade 6:30 to 8, and then 8 to 9, I get to my job. 9 o'clock, I was starting my job. So I was lucky. If I was in the East Coast, I couldn't do it. So depending on your situation, for example, if you want to day trade US stock market, you have to be available 9 o'clock to 11 in the Eastern time zone and New York time zone. If you're not, then forget about it. Because how can you do that? Some people there was a delivery guy said, I'm doing delivery. I was just starting, pulling over and try to trade. That doesn't work. You got to be available for that. Some people in the office, but it's not sustainable. Maybe you go to Forex trading because Forex is more like a longer time frame. And it's a different thing. What I love about the US stock market is opens and closes at the same time. So your day is very structured. Crypto, open 24 hours. You don't know where the volatility comes. You're sleeping in China, something goes up, and it just, I don't like that. I like the structure of day trading. Everything is in the first 2 hours. If you missed it, forget about it next day.
Do you recommend only trading the open, or would someone be able to trade like in the afternoon of the US session?
I think open is the best. I don't really recommend in the afternoon or middle of the day. Close sometimes, but I think the volatility is really down. So I highly recommend just trading it there.
When you travel, what kind of setup do you have? Do you still trade like the same as you would do at home, or do you have a different kind of structure, different routine?
Yeah, it's a different, I'm a little bit less, taking less size because I have the laptop and like more portable screens, 2 portable screens. And obviously I don't have like these big cameras, you see my setups. And so I don't have those, eyes on the market. So I try to be a little bit more conservative when I'm trading, obviously. Same routine. Also, traveling is tricky because the Wi-Fi is not really big of an issue anymore. It used to be. Now pretty much everywhere with really good internet and 5G and everything. But overall, when you're not in your natural habitat, you got to be a little bit more conservative because I can still trade really well.
And time zones and stuff kind of make it hard too.
Yeah, like for example, Asia, one of the reasons that I really don't like to go and live in Asia like you do, I know it's paradise, but it's just a time zone. Market opens at 9:30, 11, at 10 p.m. I don't know if I can handle that.
So get me to your routine of day trading when you're at home and maybe when traveling. Do you do things different? Like what's your routine like?
So when traveling, I usually plan my life around travel, not from the trading. So for example, when I'm climbing, so my day is based on climbing. If I get to trade, if I'm in Europe at 3 p.m., it's nice. If not, I skip the day. And the good thing about the stock market and trading is there's always another day. So you don't have to be desperate.
By the way, what's the name of that screen you use? Is there like something you plug to your computer or the two screens you have?
Yeah, there is a portable Asus that you can buy on Amazon, like $100 or something like that. So they're portable Asus. I think they're 16-inch. With the USB, they go connect to the laptop, USB-C or the normal USB or HDMI, I think. So it's pretty nice. Most of the laptops have enough ports.
And you have two of them?
I have two of them plus the screen of the laptop, so 3 would be enough for me. Yeah, I used to have 4, but 4 is a little overkill.
Yeah. What's having a lot of What we tell people who want to day trade, who might be learning at this point, they like not sure what strategy they should pick or like focus on. What we tell them to focus on to be able to get good results?
I think trading in a simulator is very important. Like, do not jump into any trading yet. Just trade in a simulator, because if you're consistent in a simulator, then you move to a real account, then there's no guarantee in the success in real account. But even if you fail in a simulator, then forget about it. Why would you want to go into the live account when there's all psychological element? Trade in a simulator, that's what I would say.
Did you trade in simulator?
No, I didn't. That's what I'm saying. I lost so much money. Like the first trading that I did, like I started trading, like it was like a Bank of Montreal, which is a normal retail bank. It's not broker, like orders $10 per ticket commission, and then you have to confirm your phone number. Are you sure you want to buy that? Like, and I was trading penny stocks with that. Like, I had no idea what the hell I was doing, and no simulation. And after, obviously, then you get having these losses, and you start thinking, okay, I gotta do something. I'm doing something wrong. And then I started looking around more for simulators and trading in the simulator. Yeah, for 3 months, I think I traded only in simulator.
I mean, for a lot of people, it's kind of boring to go and trade demo. They want to be able to trade like the live account, feel the ups and downs. They want to get the money if they can have good trades. So it's tough to kind of justify trading demo.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, do the small size. Like if you want, like for example, open up a $5,000 account if you want to play around with it. You can do that. I mean, it's good to put yourself through this process of psychological barrier. That's why in our community, we have this $50,000 funded training account, which I pay people from the profit. It's a simulation, but if you make money, I'll pay you. So they have this process of in our mentorship programs too, that every trade is, a win or loss for their own pocket. And it's really funny that we see that people make really good money then become conservative. They don't trade as much because they don't want to lose it. And the people who really lose at the beginning, they become like a cowboy, very aggressive in trading because I lost everything. Let's see. So the mentality that we love to see these behavioral patterns that we see. But yeah, this during the simulation, but I say, okay, this is a simulation for 3 months. I give you a $50,000 training account, but if you can make any money out of it, I'll pay you the profit. We had one, there's a check, I'll show you there's one check that the one guy made $10,000 and I gave that check to him. It's out in the office, I'll show it to you.
That's good because it makes trading more like a game. Like some people are able to stick to games easier than trading. Like they can just play the game, but when it comes to trading, following a plan is difficult.
Yeah, it's the game that there's consequences for that. That's you learn, and I love to put the challenge for people. It's fun. We want to do it, make it fun, and of course challenge. And when you're playing video game, you get headshot, you reset. But this is not you get headshot. This is real headshot. You gotta, trading is very different.
You told us about your worst trade, but I'm curious to hear about what one of your best trades would be like.
The best trades, I think, in terms of the best trade in terms of profit or in terms of execution. I don't see the best trades. Oh, I made like $50,000 on this trade, because sometimes luck is part of it. You take too much of a big size and you get lucky, but the days that I stick to my rules and patterns and entries and exits are really perfect, those are I'm really happy with that. But the days that, like for example, today Tesla, I traded 4 or 5 times and very heavy losses at the beginning and eventually made that back. So it was a day that was a struggle. You kind of, it was hard to, manage your positions and your emotions. And those are the days that I gave myself, even if I make money, is a dislike. So for me, a good trading day is 1 or 2 trades, perfect execution, perfect trade management. And I would call this is a really good trade, and no matter how much money I make. Even if it's 1 trade and I get it stopped out properly, and that's it, I think it still is a good day because I stick to my rules.
What's the difference between you who can, you can stick to your rules really easily, but someone who you teach your style to cannot stick to the rules? What do you think is the difference between you and that person? Is it like a mindset thing, or is it just that they're not used to it, or they've not built the strategies themselves, or?
I don't know. I mean, that's one of the mysteries of human psyche. That, for example, some people get things and some people don't, or like, for example, resilience. Like, even the resilience is one of the mysteries of human psyche that help some people recover from, hardships in life, divorce, losing a job, and everything. And some people kill themselves. There are some genetics behind it. There's some research that shows that there are some, genetics, but there's also a skill that you can learn. Resilience is something that you can learn. I believe blaming the genes or DNA, it doesn't work. Everything is a skill that you can learn. It might take some time for you. Some people might have some advantages over you, but you eventually can learn something. But it's just the human mind is very complex, like overeating. Like a lot of people are overeating. Some of it is mind, some of it is the chemical imbalance in the brain and stuff. It's a hard question. It's $1 billion question.
You do a lot of sport. Do you feel like sport helps you to be more resilient, more disciplined in general?
Yeah. The high altitude climbing that I do, like Everest and other big mountains, it really helps me with mental resilience. First of all, it pushes you to focus on each step. Like Everest is all about step. Just don't have the mental energy, oxygen. There's no oxygen to think about anything else. Just one step. And another thing is about climbing Everest specifically is that you have to accept to die for it. So you have to be committed to the cause. It's not a very dangerous mountain, but you have to be committed that you die because there are dead bodies over there. So when you see that, I saw the first dead body. I'll send you the picture if you want to put it in the video later. When you see the first dead body, you say, fuck, am I going to be dead like him? I'm going to turn around. And that happened to me. I talked to my Sherpa, I want to go down. I said, no, don't look at it. Push me higher. And I said, okay, I'm going to die. It's okay. I had a good line. I'm going to be in the news. Okay, I'm going to die. Let's at least finish it. That thought went into my mind, and that helped me to push forward. So the mental resilience is very important. Like in high altitude climbing, I like to challenge my mind.
Is there anything else we didn't talk about or we didn't touch on that you want to mention?
No, I think it's a great journey. I think YouTube is great. There are really good contents and really good interviews. You just have to keep it as, it's a work in progress. Don't set up a goal for yourself because you set yourself for failure. Just keep pushing and keep going and keep it on the side. I'm a big advocate of part-time trading. I know you trade full-time and travel the world and stuff, but that's not everyone have this luxury. So, trading part-time is very important. Keep your career, keep your business, keep your passion, and just try to make a little bit of money on the side until you're ready. Like I had the job until 2019. I still had the job and I was making good money from everything, but I still had the job 2019, then that's where I quit.
But that's a good point too. Like now you have a business at the same time. Would you only trade and like do nothing else, or would you rather have a business?
No, but that's the thing. You're in my office. It's a huge office. There are people working, we're building trading terminal. There's, everything is stuff. It's just my drive, like money in the account. Okay, $10 million and $12 million doesn't really make a difference. But you want to build something. You want to have something. You want to have things, create something, growth in your business, in your career is something that's very important. Like having money by itself, like I traded from the home and then I came here. Now my day has to go on, but by doing something.
We talk about skills a little bit, like skills you need to succeed in trading. You mentioned resilience. What other skills do you think people need to succeed in trading?
Well, discipline, of course, that there are soft skills that you have to practice, like discipline. Like put a challenge for yourself that you want to have a really good diet for 1 month or no alcohol for 1 month. Not to lose weight, but to see if you can challenge yourself to a certain discipline. Just 1 month, 2 weeks, something like that. And if you can't do that, don't even bother with trading. Because if you can't stay sober for 1 month, no alcohol, you go to a party, go to a dinner, everybody's having a beer, the environment demands it. Do you have the mindset that say, hey, no, I'll go with the Diet Coke instead? Like if you can do that, then that's something that you can say, okay, I'm going to go to trading, because the trading does challenges you. But if you can't do that, forget about it, in my opinion. So challenge yourself. Everybody who's watching this, challenge yourself to something, and not an unusual goal. Though I want to have a 6-pack by the end of 2 weeks. No, just 1 month, no alcohol, or no sugar for 1 month, or something like that, and see if you can do it or not. If you can't do it, then forget about trading.
I think you can do the opposite. I think discipline like this, you kind of build it from tough times too. Like you're so tired of like losing money, so tired of like strategy jumping, that you have to build that discipline over time. You kind of get tired of like losing and stuff. So I think, yeah, it's a good way to do it for sure. But I think you kind of have to experience playing to also get to that level where you have to, where you want to be disciplined to?
Yeah, of course I'm joking, but I agree with you. You have to go through this process of the discipline and the desire that you want. I like the name of the channel, the desire to trade. You have to have that desire to trade. It's a very small actually name for your YouTube channel, desire. That desire pushes you to overcome these mistakes that you do. And you'll always make mistakes. Nothing is perfect in life, and it's part of it, like always make mistakes. But the goal is to make sure that the mistakes are small enough that don't kick you out of the business.
Go check out Andrew. Leave me your thoughts also in the comment section below too, what you think of this interview, any favorite advice you have. Curious to hear your thoughts. Go check out Andrew. Has really good books about trading, his strategies, mindset, of course. You can check this out, and hopefully we can catch up soon and discuss trading again.